Hey everybody, it's Benny One, and I'm back at you with another movie review, and we're going to kick off this Halloween season with a new Halloween-esque type movie release, everybody, and that's Rob Zombie's newest film, The Munsters. So, Rob Zombie is a massive fan of the original Munsters show, which I am. I enjoyed watching it as a kid growing up. It was in black and white. I thought it was funny. It was entertaining. It was made back in the 60s. So it was a sitcom that was made a long time ago in a very different era of sitcom TV shows. So it was very popular. It was funny. People loved it. So when I learned that Rob Zombie was making a movie with the Munsters, I was like, well, that is actually really, really cool. I could see where this could possibly be Rob Zombie's best movie he's ever made. Like, seriously, best movie he's ever made. And I have not hated all of his movies. His Devil's Rejects trilogy of movies, I really enjoyed Three from Hell, the third one. I thought the second one was pretty good too. The first one was a little gross for me, House of a Thousand Corpses. And I actually enjoy his Halloween remake, his first Halloween movie. I don't like the second one he did, but I actually enjoyed that first Halloween remake that he did. I actually thought it was a pretty good remake and retelling of the Halloween story. Obviously, it's not as good as the original Halloween, but I thought it was okay. So, yeah, I was like, holy shit, he's like perfect. You think he's perfect. He loves this franchise, for one thing. He's a super huge fan of this franchise. So you think, okay, this actually might turn out to be something really cool. And then they dropped the teaser trailer for it, where it basically recreated the introduction to the Munsters, black and white, has them coming out the door just like they did in the original series. I was like, all right, this is badass. Like, this is what this is going to be. And I did not watch any other trailers that came out for this movie. And going into watching it, I'm glad I didn't, because from everything that I've read now after watching the movie is that the actual trailer they released for the movie, pretty much most people were immediately turned off by what was in that trailer. So it said it was a bad trailer and everything. So, but I just watched that initial teaser trailer. I did a reaction for it and all that stuff. So I was looking forward to this, and I didn't realize that actually Universal sold the rights to Netflix. I don't think when this initially was announced and all that, that was not part of it. So yeah, they sold the rights to Netflix, and I don't know if that's because they realized it wasn't a very good movie, and they realized they just really should probably make some money off of it, and they sold the rights to Netflix. And that's where I watched it. So yeah, I found that kind of weird. I like the old school Universal introduction thing with the plane flying around the planet and black and white. I thought that was really cool. I like that. So, yes, this is directed, written, and produced by Rob Zombie, and we will get into that. Well, mainly one part of it, the writing. But first, we'll talk about the cast. We have, of course, his wife, Sherry Moon Zombie, as Lily. She's in all of his movies. They do all the movies together that they make. They're always in them. She's always one of the main characters in all of his movies. That's just how it is. And then Jeff Daniel Phillips plays Herman Munster, everybody. And Daniel Roebuck plays Grandpa. And he is by far the best cast member in the movie. Like, by far. He was the one that was cast the best. Like, I feel like he actually emulated in on screen the original Grandpa from the show, whereas Sherry and Jeff, I don't feel like they quite captured what Lily and Herman Munster were in the original show. I just don't feel like they quite captured the essence of those characters. Like Jeff Daniel Phillips, I felt like his voice was just way too high pitched at times. And he had the Herman laugh down, I will say that. And he kind of had the mannerisms and the walk and everything, but it was a little off. It just didn't feel right for me. And then Sherry Moon Zombie is just, and it's nothing against her. she's not a very good actress. She's really good at playing a psycho murderer. I will say that. And that's basically what she's played in all of the movies she's been in that Rob Zombie has directed. Except for when she played Michael Myers' mom. That was a little different. But yeah, she's not a very good actress. So when you take her outside of that formula character that she's used to playing, it shows a lot. And she's kind of the lead character in this movie, because this is a prequel to the Munsters TV show. It's a prequel show, or a movie, that shows how Lily met Herman and how Herman was, Frankenstein's monster and got created. It's a prequel show on how they met. So it's a little love story, comedy, sitcom type stuff. So it's a prequel. I did not expect that. And if I would have watched the trailer they dropped for this, that would have been shown to me, but I didn't watch it. So I was actually kind of surprised that it was a prequel. So right away I was like, oh shit, this is a prequel. And I'm like, okay, I could roll with this. We'll see where this goes, I guess. Because the production value of the movie I thought was great. I thought it looked good. I loved that they basically tried to put the 60s TV show in modern times. As far as the production value goes, they didn't use a lot of CGI. They used a lot of like old school special effects with like the bats flying around and stuff. And you could tell it just had a cheaper old school look to the sets and the design and everything. And I love the lighting with all the greens and the purples. I just thought the colors were just popping out in the movie. I thought they captured that essence of what the old TV show was. I thought they did a great job with that. The costumes looked pretty cool. Some of the costumes, like with the creature from the Black Lagoon, that was a pretty cheap looking costume, but I feel like they were trying to just grab how things were back in the 50s and 60s. And even though this movie is made today, they were trying to just emulate that spirit of how movies were made back then. So the production value, I think, is fantastic. I thought they did a good job with that aspect of it and all that stuff. Now, the writing, whew, man, Rob Zombie needs to stop writing his movies. He does, because the dude knows how to direct and he knows how to shoot films. I think his Halloween remake is probably his best shot film, and just the way that he angles the camera and everything like that in all of his movies, including this one. Because I love how he captured the old school film style where they would tilt the camera, zoom in and stuff. Like, I feel like he captured that stuff in this movie, but the dude needs to stop writing his movies, because I feel like every movie that he's done, he's written, and he does not know how to write a movie. He doesn't. It's not his strong suit. It's his blaring weakness in making movies. If he would make the movie and let people write these movies for him, I think this guy could make some awesome horror like movies. I really, really do. Like, I do. I just feel like, because his Halloween remake, the studio was kind of telling him, well, we need to do this with the story and this and this. And I think that's kind of why it's one of my favorite movies that he's done, is because he was having a little bit of help and nudging him in the direction with the story that they wanted to go. But when he has free reign to write his movies, they're not good. The dialogue is not good usually. I thought a lot of the jokes in this movie didn't really, they're like bad dad jokes. Yeah, the writing is bad. So the story is just, it's weak. It's a very weak story, unfortunately, and this movie is way too long. Like, it was an hour and 40 minutes, I think, almost. Like, this should have been like an hour and 20, maybe an hour and 15 minutes, because, like I said, it's a prequel to the Munsters movie, or TV series. Like, it's a prequel. So by the time it ends, and then it just ends all of a sudden too, which is kind of strange. Like, it just stops. So, and their kids are not even in this at all. Like, they're not in it because it's a prequel. It shows them getting to California where they live, and they get the house and everything, and the house looks amazing. That's why I said the production value, fantastic. The house looked just like it did in the TV series, the inside and everything. But God, the story is just blah. It just blah. And I think they kind of miscast Herman and Lily, unfortunately. I don't really, unfortunately, see great reviews coming out of this for this movie. And I think I read somewhere that this movie costs like $40 million to make. Whew. I don't know if half of that went for him directing this or what, because the production looked good, but those sets, man, they look like cheap sets, like, you know, Batman and Robin level type shit, like, which is fine because they were trying to emulate and capture what the TV show was. So I understood that. And the campiness and some of the jokes, they were capturing what the TV show was. That's the whole point of doing this. But with just some of the dry humor and the poorly written story, and I am still shocked that Rob Zombie made a PG freaking comedy sitcom movie about the Munsters. Like, Jesus, because all of his movies are basically like not rated or hard R movies with just vulgar, nasty, hillbilly, gross dialogue, just disgusting. And it was weird seeing this kind of movie from him. I guess it was just strange. So, but yeah, so like I said, production value, awesome. The way he directed it, filmed it, awesome. Story, not good at all. So I'm going to give the Munsters, I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 10. It's just, if you love the Munsters, I mean, I think it's worth checking out just to see it, because I think you'll appreciate the way it looked and everything, but it's pretty weak movie as far as like stories and all that stuff and characters. So yeah, a 5 out of 10, everybody, for the Munsters. I hope you guys enjoyed that review. I thank you for watching, and I'll be catching you on the tube later because I have spoken.